They're using AI to build organs for the body and putting them on a microchip. But you can go and have a massage by a robot if you wish.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
So they're popping up all over the place. No one's going to replace these. You have energy running through these hands. It's not just about going in and having a massage anymore. You are creating a supercharged spa treatment, not just a simple, I'm popping in for a massage and I'm off again. People aren't on this earth going, I just want to kill myself by tomorrow. People aren't thinking like that. They're thinking, what can I do to be the best possible version of myself? Because people want to live longer. We can measure now if you're going to have a heart attack in 5 years. We can take concerns and we can reverse them now.
So yeah, there's some uses of AI, but I think I still love real humans better. Well, Joanne, finally we get you on Inspiring Business Leaders for season 2. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Rick. Pleasure to be here.
Great. And you and I have been friends and colleagues for a couple decades now.
21 years, yes.
And I can't wait to share with the audience some of your amazing wellness knowledge, your history, what you've done to educate the youth to be estheticians, massage therapists, product companies. You have so much wisdom to help people feel better in this day and age. So first, I want to talk about where your passion began to help people, and how'd you get started in the beauty and wellness industry?
Well, I'm originally from the UK, and in the UK, you graduate high school at 15 years old. So at 14 years old, you're asked what you would like to do in career services. And the options back in the late 80s were quite limited. And one of them, though, really spoke to me, and that was beauty therapy. And that meant I could be trained in aesthetics, massage, makeup, nails, option to do aromatherapy. And my grandmother really taught me how to use plants, herbs, flowers when I was a very young age. So I already had this. I didn't know it at the time, but I was already leaning towards aromatherapy. So I thought, I'll do this beauty therapy 2-year course. And then I added on a year for aromatherapy. So I enrolled at 15 and I was graduated by 18, and I've never looked back. And I won't tell you how many years ago that was now. So
Secret safe with me.
There you go.
But where did this inspiration to go into this field come from?
The inspiration really was my grandmother. You know, she always was using her hands for many different things. And for me, I love to use my hands to do massage. I used to love making skincare products in the kitchen. I used to like taking rose petals off roses and, bottling them up with water and selling them as rose water. So I just really, even at the time, the beauty industry, the wellness, well, it wasn't even a wellness industry. The beauty industry wasn't the multi-trillion-dollar industry it is today. It was simply look after your skin, and the Avon lady might come knocking on your door to sell you products. So it wasn't really a big influence other than, what you would see in magazines about, this miracle cream in a jar. There wasn't as much push on it then. But I just knew I wanted to do something, with my hands, and beauty therapy kind of, inspired. That's what inspired me to get into it.
Mm. And with the beauty industry, what are some of if somebody wants to go into the beauty industry, let's say they're young and AI is taking over everything, right? Is the beauty industry sort of a safe haven for people to not get caught up in AI? I mean, is AI going to take over beauty treatments, or is this a place where you'd recommend young men and women consider getting a career in right now?
I'm part of a nonprofit called Beauty Changes Lives, which raises awareness and scholarships to put people through beauty school, because it is, like I said, a multi-trillion-dollar industry now. AI will never replace a person's hands, but you can go and have a massage by a robot if you wish.
What?
Yes.
Where's that going?
Many companies. There's one in San Francisco,
Oh my God.
one in New York. There will be one in LA soon. You can go up to Oceanside and go to the Seabird up there and have a robotic massage.
Wow.
So they're popping up all over the place, but they're more for revenue generators for rooms that aren't being used. So you can buy a piece of touchless wellness equipment if you want to, like a red light therapy bed, which looks like a sunbed, but it emits red light, which is great for aches and pains, pro-aging. And you can put these in your unused treatment rooms. I digress. going back to, the real question at hand here, AI is here to stay. And we're embracing it in the way of, it can help write treatment menu descriptions. It can help answer your phones for you. It can do a number of things that we can program it to do. But when it comes to having a treatment in a spa, no one's going to replace these. Like you have energy running through these hands that only you can transmit to the other person. So we can use AI in a useful way for many things, but with the younger generations getting into the spa, beauty, and wellness industry, longevity is here to stay, wellness is here to stay, going to the spa to de stress is here to stay. So this career just keeps going up and up. And it's definitely for the entrepreneurs as well who want to build their own businesses, want to build their own brands, want to build their own skincare. So, yeah, I would say this is a great industry to get into.
Well, I mean, absolutely well said, because I know everybody's kind of freaking out about robotics and AI. So it's amazing just to find somewhere where people are still connecting as people. And I'm obviously still using this stuff because we're not going to avoid it, like you said. I did want to backshadow a little bit, though. You mentioned that you started at the wellness industry at a very young age in your mid-teens. And then what happened? How did you get started, like in the professional arena? Who'd you work for and where at?
Well, back then in the early 90s, like I graduated in 92. So again, spas weren't what they are today. And I was growing up near Manchester. That was the biggest city. So if there were big spas, that's where they were. And I ended up doing what we call work experience. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I suppose apprentices, internships are. Back then, you had to join a spa to get 2 weeks work experience, and then that would go towards finishing your 2-year program. So I found this place in Manchester, and I loved it so much, and I did so well, and I was so enthusiastic about it that they hired me part-time at the end of it. So I didn't get a break from, graduating college to working. I just carried on. And then when I was at that spa, a rep from one of the top Paris skincare lines came in and did training with us. And she said, if you ever want to go into training and education and sales, I have something for you. And I was only 19 at the time. And a year went by, and at 20 years old, we kept in contact. And this is before social media or anything. You were calling people, on a rotary telephone or a little, touch button. So it wasn't like you could text each other. Anyway, a year later, because at this spa, I learned to be a fully fledged aromatherapist through the IFA, the International Federation of Aromatherapists. I had really got enthused about staying as a therapist in a treatment room in Manchester. But she came in, and that one last time she came in, she said, I've joined a company called Elemis. Do you want to join me and run the whole north of England? And I was 20 at the time. And I said, sure.
What did she see in you to give you this
I
kind of
asked her, I
raise?
said, what do you see me? She said, I just see that you really love what you do. And I'd given her a facial, and she said, you've really got good hands. And I didn't understand what that meant at the time, but now I say it all the time to students, you've got really good hands. I can tell you've got good hands. I'll get them to massage my arm, and I'll say, right, your pressure's perfect, but you need to apply more pressure with the base of your palm. And now I understand what she meant. So I feel now I'm paying it forward, with what she saw in me, I can see in others. So that was a really lovely gift.
Absolutely. And especially not only just having that, but somebody seeing that in you and giving you an opportunity.
Sure.
I mean, it puts you where you are now, right? What a great
Mhm.
start. Do you think, part of what I like to talk about on the show is a little bit of struggle. Do you think it maybe as a child were you ever stressed, or did you struggle? I mean, I think life for everybody has its, childhood stresses. Have you channeled any of that from, what you experienced to help other people that may be going through something similar, that maybe you don't even know they are going through that, but do you ever bring that sort of that child out in you to help other people through your treatments?
It's a very interesting question. And certainly, thinking about that, when I think about in this day and age mental health and how much of a spotlight is on mental health these days and how much can be done now to help other people, I also now know that stress is the number one killer. So by doing what we call preventative measures to help, because therapists can get burnout from doing too many massages a day. When I was growing up in the north of England, and if I had any mental health problems going on, they weren't called mental health problems. They were just called shut up and get on with it. Like you weren't given an option. So now in hindsight, you look back on those moments and you think, gosh, everybody was struggling with something back in the day, but we just weren't allowed to identify with it. I think now people are identifying more with things to sometimes a detriment, but sometimes, the better knowledge to share. And what we can do in the spa and wellness industry, we can address those levels of concern of mental health, levels of stress. Teen spa and wellness is huge. One of my very dear friends is the chair of wellness for children. And we're doing a lot right now. I'm supporting her in all of her efforts of bringing wellness to teens and to spas for teens. So, it's more a case of how we can leverage all the tools that we use in the spa and wellness industry to balance the body: meditation, human touch, conversation, communication, getting off tech, going off the grid. All of those things are part of our vocabulary now in the spa and wellness industry, which we didn't need all those years ago. So I think that when I look at my childhood, I didn't have all the technology, but if we were upset about something, it also wasn't addressed either. So you kind of were built to be a very tough cookie and you just got on with it. Whereas this day and age, it's an expectation that if someone younger has a problem, that they tell you about it and you spend time listening. But it's having the solution. And sometimes, the sensory piece of our lives, touch, sight, smell, seeing, like all of that is not there anymore. So I think spas and wellness bring that back, whether it be a simple walk in nature or by the ocean to actually having a massage. That can dramatically change the outlook of someone.
Wow. Yeah, I think you're really right about that. And it reflects in just looking at the revenue of the spa industry over the wellness industry over 30 years is absolutely exponential growth. And it's growing all the time because people are flipping stressed out these days, right? And so I think for the inspiring business leaders that are watching something like this, what a great industry to go into. So I want to talk to you about the innovations and the conferences you go to, because you go to some pretty powerful conferences and you're seeing things that might not even be to market yet. You're hearing keynote speakers talk about the telomeres and the stem cells and, all these things that may or may not be on market yet. Can you talk to us about maybe 2 or 3 of the latest, greatest innovations in wellness that really struck you in the last few conferences you've been to?
Yeah, one conference in particular that I've been going to for quite some time now, the Global Wellness Summit. They move it around the world every year. I think we went one year to Morocco, didn't we?
One of my favorite trips.
Yes.
Amazing.
So the Global Wellness Summit last year was in Dubai. All right. So, Dubai is a city of innovation. There's a lot going on there. The speakers are always top notch at the Global Wellness Summit, but in particular, there was this doctor speaking about how they're using AI to build organs for the body and putting them on a microchip. So what they can do basically is, first of all, they can take an organ, create a scan of the organ in your body, put it on a microchip, completely analyze that through AI, and then put it back out to you and rebuild what needs to be done or supplement it or whatever based on your particular organ. And I know that isn't spa or wellness. It's certainly not something I'm going to be doing, but you have to understand that the link between medical and spa has been going on for years now. And it's like, even when we were working together in a medical spa, we were working with doctors every single day. Now, that was more for the cosmetic, aesthetic medicine of it all. But if you take that on a wellness longevity medicine, you can go to a top resort spa and you can have all your genome testing done. You can have all your baselines done of your blood work, how your body's functioning before you even have a massage. All of it is intertwined now. So, again, going back to your question, number one was building organs and assessing organs on a microchip using AI. Another area is music. And we all know sound therapy has been around for thousands and thousands of years, whether it be the singing bowls, whether it be utilizing music as a form of relaxation or meditation. But now we know that music and, everything that it's doing with frequency and hertz and how they are blending that into hotels and spas. And when you walk into a spa and they have a signature scent, now they're creating signature beats for the actual spas. So if you go to like a Ritz-Carlton, let's say, in Mexico, you don't always notice the background music, but when you watch a movie and you see someone pushing a shopping cart through a grocery store, you hear the music in the background because it plays a part in some sinister role in the movie. That's what's happening in our spa industry because it affects how you are going to approach that spa, how you're going to spend, how you're going to buy things. So the music is being created from scratch with musicians. So there's a company that's doing that as well in the UK. And then the third thing, nutrition continues to get better and better. But blending the nutrition piece with the sound, with the AI, and bringing a much more up-to-date service to the guest when they go to a spa. It's not just about going in and having a massage anymore. And we've talked about it being holistic for many, many years, but now that blend of tech and then the blend of the senses and the blend of what you're putting in your body, you are creating a supercharged spa treatment, not just a simple I'm popping in for a massage and I'm off again.
So we have organs on microchips, we have music, and we have, what was the third one?
Nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are all very important for us. The AI thing, it's still, I'm kind of freaked out about it, but
Aren't you
cool.
doing some courses in AI as well? Are you getting into it yourself?
You know what? I'm taking more of a human approach. I'm actually, these podcasts are human. There's like talking head avatar AI videos and there's everything's AI. And I'm like, you know what? I always like to kind of buck the trends and say, what can I do that's actually opposite of it? So yeah, there's some uses of AI, but I think I still love real humans better. So you've been in the wellness industry for a little while now and you've done things all over the world. But right now in this moment, what are you focused on?
So Wellness Education Hub, I've had that company for about 8 years and I work with 2 major brands that are global and I teach their skincare, protocoled facials and body treatments in resort spas all around the world. I live in San Diego, but for instance, next month I'll be in Saudi Arabia. This month I'll be in Mexico. It's just wherever there's a luxury spa, they're going to have luxury products and they're going to have a beautiful spa menu. So I help brands teach those treatments. The other big piece that I do right now is I have training courses with my business partner in Ireland. She's from Dublin. Her name is Christine Clinton. And we have a course that teaches oncology aesthetics and oncology massage. And we just launched the menopause skin health program as well. And why are these things really important? Well, menopause, if you're a woman, you're going to get it. So, let's just look at that. In America alone, there's 1.8 million women just right now going through some level of menopause. So we have to address that in spas because it affects your skin, it affects your nails, it affects your hair, it affects your energy, it affects your bones, so many things. And then the oncology piece, unfortunately, we haven't found a cure for cancer yet. So imagine, you're an esthetician and you've been, doing facials on a client for 5 years, and all of a sudden he or she turns up and says, I've just had a diagnosis. What are you going to do? Are you going to turn that client away? Or are you going to figure out a way to actually carry on doing the treatments? Because I'll tell you this, when I graduated all those years ago, I was told that I could never, ever work on a client going through cancer treatment, that it was an absolute contraindication. And that is a load of poop. So we are changing that spa by spa. And Christine and I have trained hundreds of spas now all over the world. And we've trained lots of therapists on how to actually safely and confidently treat people who are going through chemo, radiation, immunotherapy, any type of cancer treatment, but also post-treatment. So that's a very important part of my work, and something that I only found out, gosh, I've been qualified about 15 years. And then I met Christine, and Christine told me that she had this training program. But she was really just doing the training in Ireland, and she wanted to take it global. And I said, let's do this.
Amazing. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you're all over the place. I look at your schedule and I'm like, I don't know how she does it. I see you on social media. You're in one part of the world and you hop to the other part of the world.
Time travel. I wish we had time travel. I wish AI could allow us to do time travel.
Yeah, maybe slow down
Be
time.
heard. Or bring Concorde back. Bring Concorde back. I'd totally pay for that now.
They'll probably do that. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I mean, honestly. But let's let me go a little bit deeper into the oncology, massage, and wellness. Are you guys using like research? Or are you doing your own research? Where's the information coming from where you're helping make this not a taboo thing? Like I'm sure it still might be. And you guys are removing this taboo, and you're helping people that really, some of the people that need it the most. But where does the protocol come from, or the product?
Yeah. So, well, let me ask you this. What is your take on having a massage if you're going through cancer treatment? What do you believe to be true in the world of consumership right now? Just out of
it
interest.
spreads the cancer around the body.
Okay, very good. And please know I didn't ask you to say that.
Yeah.
But that is the absolute myth that we're all raised on, because with cancer, when a tumor forms in the body, you get the biopsy, you know that it's cancerous, and we have to now take care of that. The only way that can spread around the body is through a very complex chemical process called metastasis, and only your body can do that. But the consumers think that because massage boosts circulation and moves lymph, and we know like lymphatics and circulation, they're very close to each other. When you massage, it boosts both of those systems in the body. So what happens is you think, oh, well, if I'm moving, lymph, then the cancer can get in the lymph and spread around the body. That is untrue, because only metastasis can put it in your lymph in the first place and spread it around the body. Now, when you do a massage, human touch, it is very important the pressure that you use. Very important the pressure that you use. And it's very important that if you've had lymph nodes removed, the direction of flow you go in, but you can still touch a client. Like, you have to just do it confidently and safely. So that is the first myth we debunk, but you can only do that by explaining the science behind it. To the regular consumer, they're just trained, oh, I can't have a massage because it'll spread cancer around my body. How's it going to spread the cancer? Well, you're moving my blood and you're moving my lymph. I know, but if the cancer isn't in your blood or lymph, we can't spread it. Only your body can spread it. So that's the first myth that we debunk in training. And then, even if the client, because chemotherapy can make people break out in the most terrible of rashes. Sometimes you can't even touch the skin. So you can do energy work though. You can do Reiki. You can lay your hands on someone. You can do scalp. You can do feet, reflexology. You can do scalp massage. You can do Reiki, hands-on, energy medicine. There's so many options. The last thing you should do is turn people away from spas. That is the movement. Forget about the training for a minute. Forget about the education. It's important, but it really is a movement. Stop turning people away from spas, because we as therapists and estheticians, not only can we improve the skin, we can improve the mindset. We can improve how that client feels for the day. Like when you're having all these oncology appointments, let's say you've got radiation in the morning, chemotherapy on this day, doctor visit on this day. It's just a bunch of appointments. It's a blur. I've had clients tell me that the one appointment they look forward to the most is with their esthetician or their massage therapist. Why? Because they get to relax and get human touch.
Amazing. I want to segue into that. Like, can you tell me a story or two, somebody that was either dealing with cancer or trauma for that matter, somebody that went through something really intense in their life? And have you helped people? Have you seen them transition from when they first come in, their energy, their being? Have they said anything to you like, wow, I feel completely transformed? Do you have any stories like that? Not mentioning any names, but maybe just share a few things about them.
Yeah, I'll try not to choke up on this story because it does get me, but it was, I remember the year so well. I remember the place. It was 2018. It was in the UK, and we were running a 3-day clinic for training. And this woman walked in one day and she was very nervous. She was very shy. She was overly talkative, which is always an indication that, she's just like unsure of her whereabouts right now and why she's here. So we were in a training class, so we had to explain to her, look, we're going to be listening to your story because we ask every client who comes in to be a model because we don't have therapists work on each other. We have them work on clients who are actually in treatment or post-treatment. So this one woman came in and she was only in her 40s and she'd been through about 10 rounds of chemo. She'd been through radiation. She'd had what's called reconstruction, on her breasts. And basically she was really upset. And when we asked her about her story, what came out and didn't prepare us all for the class, like she basically said, not only had she gone through all this, but her husband had left her, couldn't deal with it. So now she was on her own. Nobody had touched her in 5 years. She felt like she looked like Frankenstein because they'd botched up the surgery a couple of times. She was scared to take off her top to have a facial in front of us. There were so many elements. And I can speak about this confidently to you right now, but at the time, in that setting, the empathy that pulls from you when you're listening to these types of stories, and all you want to do is just change their life right there and then. We got her onto that table and we changed her life. We just changed her life that day. It was absolutely beautiful. She got off that table and she said, I've never felt so alive. She'd lost complete presence with her body. It was like she just like forgot about that part of her body,
Ooh.
So that's what we do.
Wow.
Thank you, Rick.
Wow.
So this is what happened. And, Christine and I joke with Christine because Christine's been doing it longer than I have, and sometimes she's worse than me. But, in training, we have to do, it's so silly when I say this, but we have to do this cabaret singing before we go into training to build up our energy and build up just our power before going in, because we know we're going to hear some harrowing stories. We also know we're going to change people's lives. We know that we're going to be, just really there to hold space for people. So we have to put a lot of fun energy into ourselves before we go into a very serious situation. But yeah, we have to keep it together as educators, because when you've got a class of 10, 15 people that you're training, you can't be, it's hard, but you listen to these stories and you just have to remember why you're there. And it's compassionate care. That's why we're there.
Great story. Wow. We really just have to sometimes be grateful for just good health sometimes, right?
Health is wealth. Health as well.
Then you're seeing a lot of wealth go to health now. So you're seeing a lot of
Absolutely. A
it.
lot of people. Biohacking is now a thing. I mean, people are hacking how long they can live for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
by the way, going back to, the three things we talked about, building organs and assessing organs on microchips. We talked about, the nutrition piece as well. And the sound, the music. But if I can just talk a little bit about the nutrition, because I didn't finish that thought properly. But what they're doing with nutrition is they're analyzing exactly what is correct. Like years ago, I had a test called Viome, and I found out what superfoods were good for me, what wasn't good for me, what was neutral. And now they're taking that to a whole new level. So, you can do genetic testing on your body, but you can actually dive into the nutritional piece more by finding out exactly what is going to charge you and make you live longer. And then, so chefs are like utilizing these very, very customized menus for guests, and going back to the biohacking and everything, the people who can afford it have their own personal tailored menu based on superfoods and what is exactly right for them. So the testing, the analyzing of nutrition is what I was meant to say before as well.
Wow.
And how that can tie into the spa and wellness market.
They say you are what you eat, so it'd make a lot of sense.
But not always what you eat. Like you might think, oh, I'm eating oatmeal every morning, and that's fantastic for me because it said so on the internet that oatmeal is good to start in the morning. It lowers your heart rate, it fills you up, blah, blah, blah. But who knows? Oatmeal could be causing you hives, could be causing you acne, could be causing you GI problems.
So we're not what we eat, we're how we react to what we eat. And that could be negative,
Sure,
positive, or
enzyme,
neutral.
sure, an enzyme makeup.
Yeah.
For instance, tomatoes. I love tomatoes. But apparently there's a virus in tomatoes in general, not from any pesticides or anything, just in general, that makes my GI flare up.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
That's not
Kind of like herb. Oh, yes. Yes. Wow, amazing. Thank you for all these insights. I want to go to your stint at Bellis Academy, and because for inspiring business leaders, I think this is a great topic for anybody watching that is looking for a career change at any age, right? You don't have to be right out of high school to go into the spa industry. But when you were at Bellis, did you see people of different careers come in at a middle age or
Oh gosh, yes, all the time. I mean, I've been with Bellis Academy on and off now. Oh, can't believe it. It was the year I met you, 2005. So I've seen many chapters of Bellis Academy, and everything from analyzing and building curriculum to teaching in the classrooms to being on the advisory board. I've seen it all with Bellis, and I'm still in contact with them now. I'll always love the student journey because I think it's so important. Without them, we haven't got a future of the industry. So you have to have people getting trained up in this profession to ensure a solid future of the industry. So your question with regards to people coming in for a second career all the time. During COVID was probably like the biggest time. Once we got things settled with getting everything on Zoom and everything, on the computers and the portals, there were many people who'd lost their jobs in corporate banking, or, real estate, or travel or whatever it might be because the world shut down. It was just like when 9/11 happened. Unfortunately, the world shut down. So COVID, the world shut down. People lost jobs. People were like, right, this is where I do an inventory of what the hell do I want to do with the rest of my life. I've always liked skincare. I've always liked massage, human touch. I'm going to go and learn how to do that. So if anything, Bellis Academy sees a lot of second careers because the first career has burnt them out too much. Don't get me wrong, you can be a very busy esthetician and a massage therapist as well. So you got to protect your own energy with that. I always say my biggest superpower is sleep. And there is a reason for that, because that's the one thing that recharges my batteries in order for me to keep on giving the energy output that's needed. Without that, I'd be useless. So, you have to give self-care to the caregiver.
Well, sleep is incredibly important. One of my gurus said when you sleep, it's like laying right next to God. And
Hmm.
so we need that time with God to recharge our batteries, and without it, we die. And that always just stuck with me, thinking you're just really cuddled up next to God. No, not everybody believes in God, but I like the story. I like to think that
Sure,
that's where we're at when
exactly.
we're sleeping. Carson, how are your do you guys sleep a lot at your age, or do you guys have sleep problems at your age? Do you feel like do any of your friends talk about it ever?
A lot of people stay up and they only get a few hours of sleep. I'm happy to I get a lot of sleep actually. I get like 8, 9 hours. This is very healthy.
But some of your colleagues aren't
A
getting
lot of
that.
people are not getting that sleep because they're staying up on like playing video games, or
Uh-huh.
they're out doing stuff,
Yeah.
or they're busy with homework or something, so they don't sleep. So they don't take it seriously.
Let's talk a little bit. That's what I thought's going on too. And I mean, going to college can be stressful, and you don't sleep. I mean, that's been a thing. But now you add the phone on it. I want to take a minute to talk about social media and
Mm.
technology,
Hmm.
and whether it's good or bad for us, and how it is how we use the cell phone, how our posture is, the overuse of the mind. Um, are we addressing that in the wellness industry currently?
Yes and no, because we talked about AI. So we kind of need the tech, we need the computers, we need the phones, we need the iPads for check-in and all this stuff going on, right? So the technology is there. But then, for instance, there's one spa, one of my favorite spas in the UK, where you get a locker for your belongings. But before you get that locker, they take your phone off you and they put it in a phone locker. So it's like this mini locker that you get for your phone, and it's got a charger in it, and they lock your phone away for the whole time you're in the spa. Now, of course, some people are gonna not want that, but for the most part, people give up their phone. So, this whole kind of you're in a spa, which is what we've always done, whether it be our voice being loud or, switch your phone off or whatever. Now, spas are physically taking the phone off you. They're like, no, out. You're not going to be in a relaxation room. I was in a sauna just the other night and someone came in with a phone. That was really tough. And, I nearly had a bit of a fit at that one because number one, you're already emitting all these EMFs, and then you add in heat to it, and then you're melting your phone, and you've got your earpods in, and there's just so many elements why. And the meditation piece, you shouldn't be taking technology into any wet areas or saunas or steams or a treatment room or a relaxation room. Just no. So, is it being addressed? Yes. Are people adhering to it? Probably could do a lot better, but it really is, a matter of time. And we know that signals from your phones and the blue light coming off your phone, like at night, they say 1 hour before bed, you shouldn't be looking at the blue light on your phone. You shouldn't be waking up in the middle of the night and looking at the blue light. You shouldn't be looking at it first thing in the morning. What I just learnt from a speaker at the Global Wellness Summit is set an alarm. Like, let's say if you use your phone as your alarm clock, which a lot of people do, set one alarm to wake you up and then don't look at the phone, just switch it off. Set another alarm later, however long you want it to be, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, when you can look at your phone.
Mm.
So you set one alarm to wake up, which would just be your original ding, 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 like the old fashioned alarm, and then leave your phone. And then when you hear the second alarm, that means you can look.
Hmm. I wonder if, because I notice for myself, as much as I know about the wellness industry, yoga, meditation, I'm still obsessed with my phone. I'm not going to lie. I mean, even
Of
as we
course.
know that we're not supposed to be doing this, I wonder if we will see spas like these anti-phone spas,
Yeah.
but maybe just treatments where we just like, how do we get off of our phones and be human again? I think that's going to be big in psychology and wellness in the coming years, because I think the phone is absolutely destroying all of us.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just look at what they're doing with the whole nightclub movement. The year I was born, and, my generation is Gen X. We grew up in a scene where you went to nightclubs to socialize, and there were no phones. It was just music. It was either a live band or a DJ, and there was no phones, and you would just dance, 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 and go home and go to bed. That was it, right? Now, when you look at concerts and DJs and live bands, all you see is just a sea of like lights, right? Well, in Ibiza and in London, they've got 2 clubs now, which are no phone clubs. They take your phone off you when you walk into the club, because then it puts you right back in to why you're meant to be in the club in the first place, to watch the band or listen to the music or dance. They are your primal elements of doing it in the first place. It's not to video it. How many times do you go back and watch that video?
Not enough to make it worth losing a moment.
How many photos do you have on your phone right now? 80,000?
Yeah, right.
All right. So you're never going to realistically go back to every single one of them. But there's just this culture of taking phones to record things in possibly that you might. I post all the time on stories. To me, though, I will say it's to kind of let people know where I am. And half the time when I post and say, oh, I'm in New York, somebody will be like, oh, Joe, you're in New York. Let's meet up. I'm like, yay. So I use it as kind of like a bit of a tracker thing. But when it comes to the real primal things that you love to do, like have dinner, go and listen to music, go for a walk in the woods, whatever it is. Yeah, you shouldn't be having your phone with you, right?
Yeah, well, I just did a boys trip this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
My 8 of my best friends. It's our 13th annual, and I made it a point to use my phone not at all for 4 days. And I was even noticing how my eyes were reacclimating to the sun and nature. Just because we go to the phone and then maybe we look up and we get pure sunshine. But I was noticing how much it had affected me just using and staring at this phone all the time. I think it's going to be one of the biggest topics of wellness in the 2030s. I think this balance between how much technology we're using. I mean, for Carson over there behind the scenes, he doesn't know what it was like, really. I mean, maybe when he was very young, not to have the phones.
Sure.
And I think people our age, we were like, man, those were some of the best days. Like, don't get me, the utilitarianism of phones is absolutely stunning. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we are losing a part of our humanity and our time and our energy to these things. And I think something needs to be done with it. I think it's really affecting mental and physical and emotional health.
And if I can just say, adding on to physical, emotional, mental health, but the skills that come with that as well. Reading,
Sure.
natural reading of books, writing skills as well. I can always tell when somebody has just grown up texting, typing, and they haven't actually got into handwriting, because it's just not needed. Everything is typed out. So these very basic skills are lost unless you're going to a school that doesn't give you an iPad, because even your regular schools will give you an iPad to work off now.
Not now. These days they've outlawed it in several states. I think Florida and I think another state, phones are outlawed in school now.
Yeah.
Like the kids can't bring. Well, it's like, why didn't you think of that before, genius? It's just like they unleash.
Because now they've got the data, you see. Now they've got the data and they can prove, everything takes in the medical community about 20 years before they can say, like, parabens in skincare. Parabens in skincare show up in biopsies for breast cancer. So now they can link parabens to breast cancer. They couldn't do that 20 years ago because it just wasn't there. But they have to wait until they collect all this medical data, right? So with phones, they're showing that it can affect your brain. It can affect your learning, your cognitive behavior by holding up your phone. That's why it's very important that if you are going to use your phone, to have the headphones in, not have it stuck up on your ear all the time. There's so many elements that they found out through, just looking at the data with what phones are doing to, our health in general.
One of the most annoying things I think with phones, like you talked about that guy in the sauna, right? It's just a place to just relax, bro. Put your phone down, right? But when people have their volume on when they're watching their short reels in public places, Carson, is that a thing? Do people have their volume on in school when they're watching short reels?
There's times there's weird kids that do that, but most people have headphones in.
They do. They're respectful. It's the older people. It's like the 30 somethings that are doing it.
I know. I don't want to hear all the screaming and this,
Yeah,
that, and the other
I
coming
know.
out.
And then the thing, I had a guy at the gym that was doing that, and I was trying to work out. I'm like, dude, that's so rude. Like, what's wrong with people? But
Yeah.
anyways, well, I want to go over to some of your favorite things. I want to do a few listicles with you. These are the fun parts. I think these are kind of short takes that will be fun for people.
Okay.
So, top three favorite types of massage.
Oh gosh, types of massage. I love a good shiatsu massage, finger pressure. I like Thai massage because of all the stretching. And I like aromatherapy massage because just smells great and it's very balancing and it's good for the brain.
All right, let's do your top three favorite spas in Southern California.
Okay, probably there's so many. We're so spoiled here because of the weather, so everything's indoor, outdoor. But Hotel Del, California, quintessential on the beach spa, gorgeous, been around for years. Just went through a big refurb and it's stunning now. Um, Fairmont Grand Del Mar, Uber Lux, gorgeous pools. You could spend all day there with the amenities. And then probably Estancia in La Jolla. Estancia is old Mexican casita style. And again, I'm all about the pools as well because the spa's one thing, sitting in front of a fireplace after you've had your treatment, jacuzzi, bathtubs, in the gardens and things like that. That's all lovely, but it's what else can you do there? And if they've got, and again, we're spoiled here in Southern California, we've got the most beautiful landscaping in these spas where you can sit around the pool at any time of year and just relax. So that to me is important as well. So they would be my top three.
Okay, top three anti-aging treatments. It doesn't have to it could be medical spa, it could be spa, it could be whatever you want. But if, let's say, a woman is getting in her later 40s, early 50s, and she
Like
wants
me.
say, I didn't say it. But I'm just saying this is a time where, the aging, and you look beautiful, by the way. We're going to talk about what you do to stay looking so great. But I do want to know, like, if you were to give somebody three anti-aging treatments, products, whatever it is, what are three anti-aging secrets?
Okay. For me personally, and I think I've told so many friends about this and they agree as well, but one is a device, and that would be red light therapy. But good red light therapy, there's different types there's red light, blue light, and far infrared light. And you've got to get them at the right wavelengths to have the right effect on the skin. And red light can help with, of course, lines and wrinkles, pro-aging. It can help with aches and pains set at a different wavelength. It can even help with contouring your body, hair loss. So this, red light can do a lot of things, but it has to be set at a proper standard. So red light is something that is probably one of my biggest pro-aging tips. We don't say anti-aging anymore. We say pro-aging now because, again, we're all getting up there and we're all aging in our own ways. The second thing is, of course, good skincare. It doesn't have to be super expensive. It doesn't have to be 10 products a day. Just make sure your skin is really cleansed. Make sure it's super hydrated. And make sure you're putting something on at night to repair your skin. I personally love using an oil. Okay, even if you've got mild acne, an oil will help rebalance the oil and it ultimately helps repair your skin over time. So that's number two. And then number three isn't even anything that you can manually put on yourself or do. It's sauna. Last year, I went to Norway and I got trained up in Aufguss. Aufguss is German sauna rituals, combining aromatherapy, heat from the sauna. It's combining towel waving techniques and music. And imagine going into a sauna for about 15 minutes and a sauna master coming in, an Aufguss master coming in and saying, okay, everybody, welcome to your Aufguss session. I'm going to take you on a journey through the woods of Oregon now. and then they put what's known as a snowball on the coals, and it's got pine essential oil in, and the whole sauna fills with pine. And then he gets his towel and he or she gets his towel and starts moving the aroma and the steam around the sauna. And then the music comes on and it sounds like you're in a forest. That's off, Gus. So I got trained up last year by one of the top instructors in the world, Lasse Eriksson. And I've only done my basic training, and I'm still in training because I've still got to finish my what it's called a cookbook, my recipe cookbook of sauna rituals. I've got to complete 20, and then I get my certification. But for me, being in a sauna a couple of times a week or whenever I can, that is probably one of the biggest anti-aging hacks that I've had going into my 50s now. And it helps my skin, it helps my mind, it helps my body, boosts circulation. I just feel great afterwards. And you can do a little bit of cold plunging afterwards if you wish. But the sauna work has just been what I feel in this decade, probably one of the biggest pro-aging hacks that I've found so far in my journey in this wellness industry.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. So what if you're looking at skincare and you're looking at ingredients, you're the goddess of skincare. I mean, you've been doing it for quite a while and you're such an expert, so much training. How do we know when you go and look at a skincare product, are you looking for oils? Are you looking for no parabens? Are you looking for peptides? When you go and see $100 cream on a shelf, what are you looking for personally, or what would you recommend other people kind of look for?
Well, I've got two mindsets about this because, if I put my oncology aesthetics hat on, I'm always looking for clean beauty. I don't want all the icky ingredients in a product, for a client who's already going through highly medicated treatment. So clean beauty, what does that mean? Botanicals, herbs, aromatherapy-based products and clean bases. So understanding where the actual ingredients are grown and where they're coming from and how they're distilled, that's really important with clean beauty. Understanding how they're blending those pure active ingredients with pure active bases. Like you can't take grade 1 essential oil and put it into cooking oil from the kitchen. It's just not going to work, right? It has to be in a beautiful oil base in order to support the quality of that ingredient. So there's that, and then there's lab-grown ingredients. But lab-grown ingredients, you can do it on the cheap. Like, for instance, we have if you Google the Toxic 10, it was reserved for food products. But if you Google Toxic 10 skincare ingredients, just put that into the Google bar, you'll see all these ingredients that should not be used in products. Now, I'm from England, so a lot of the products I use are registered with the EU, European Union. And in the EU, we ban 2,500 substances from products that you can still find in American products, because the FDA allows those 2,500 substances to be used, but the EU bans them. They have very strict rules and regulations on product ingredients and on food ingredients as well. So when you live in Europe, there's a lot of things that just you just can't get over here, in the way that they just omit them from the products because they're deemed unsafe. So when it comes to what I'm looking at, I'm really looking at if somebody claims to be using clean beauty, like where are those ingredients coming from? Where is that rose coming from? Where is the lavender coming from? What base is it in? How is it being formulated? That's very important. And then I'm really looking at what is good for the skin. Like, think about you getting older, Rick. What is your body or your skin, because we're talking about skin, what is your skin losing right now as you go?
Oil and hydration, I would say. Well,
oil and hydration.
Or water, probably.
All right, so think about, because not every consumer, including me and you, we're not cosmetic chemists, right? But when you look at the biology of skin, you start aging from 25 onwards, your collagen and elastin starts to break down. This is just facts. Like, this is biology, right? So when your building blocks start to break down, what is breaking down with it? The peptides are breaking down, right? your collagen, your elastin, all this connective tissue. So what can we do to wake up the connective tissue? So there's ingredients in products which will help plump and firm and give a better skin tone and texture. There's things that's going to remove or prevent brown spots, like tyrosinase inhibitors. Like you can find those in products as well. So it depends on the concern and what you're already losing. So when I'm speaking to a client, when a guest is coming into the spa, and if I was still in the spa doing treatments, I would ask them what their concerns are. I would tie that up with their lifestyle and their age. And I would know what their body's already losing. And then I would match the ingredients or the tools, like red light therapy or whatever it might be. I would match the tools and the ingredients to that particular client. So it becomes more like concierge skincare. It's not one size fits all. But unfortunately, going back to social media, when you've got TikTok banging out, like I've got 4 goddaughters in the UK, ranging from 14 to 18. And if I get one more call of one of them saying, Auntie Jojo, I bought vitamin C from Sephora, and they're like 15 years old, I'm like, no, you don't need vitamin C. You're not losing vitamin C from your skin. No, you don't need hyaluronic acid, but because they've seen something trending, they're buying it because they think that's what they need because everybody else is using it. It's very, very much a select thing. So between ingredients and tools and the age that you are and what you're already losing determines what you need.
Maybe we should start an Ask Joanne TikTok channel about beauty products.
I think like one of my goddaughters said,
that would be so good.
Ask Auntie Jo about skin glow. A TikTok. She wanted me to do a TikTok channel. Ask Auntie Jo about skin glow.
It's a
For all
good
her friends
idea.
at
It's
school.
a good idea.
I know, bless them.
So where do you see right now, where do you see the spa industry, the wellness industry? Is it just going to continue to grow and flourish? Do you think it's going to keep building? I mean, talking from a financial perspective, a job opportunity perspective, an entrepreneur perspective, what are your thoughts in terms of is a revenue and the volume of sales going to keep growing in this industry from a product and service base?
Yes. As we've been talking throughout this whole podcast, we know longevity and wellness is here to stay. People aren't on this earth going, I just want to kill myself by tomorrow. I want to do as much damage as possible so I can die early. People aren't thinking like that. They're thinking, what can I do to be the best possible version of myself? What can I do to make sure my nutrition's on point? How can I measure things going on inside my body? What treatments can I do to hack my system? That's why people like Dave Asprey, he was one of the speakers at the Global Wellness Summit. His whole biohacking clinic franchise thing that he's got, actually it's not a franchise, it's more his private clinics, but the Dave Asprey biohacking clinics, when you go in and it's kind of like a car wash of ways to hack your body, whether it be hacking your brain, whether it be hacking your chronological age, how you can reverse things, because people want to live longer. And the truth of the matter is that people are living longer. We have found ways, like we can measure now if you're going to have a heart attack in 5 years. We know this now. We didn't know that 10 years ago. We couldn't do these longevity tests to find out. We couldn't do full body MRIs like Pronuvo. We couldn't do these longevity tests to find out exactly, what age you are and what age your body is showing you. We can take concerns and we can reverse them now. They're having all these medical breakthroughs because of technology. So it's here to stay. And I know that's more medical, but you have to understand, going to spas, the first thing I said, stress is the number one killer. That has not changed. I was just reading the other day, this woman who lived till she was 122 years old, right? And she ate chocolate every day. She drank red wine. She, was a little bit, crazy in her own ways. And I'm sure you can just Google this story. But when it was asked, and this is why blue zones are really important, or at least the blue zone way of living, it was the community that kept her going. You know, isolation's real. Isolation is the new smoking. Like
Wow.
people
Because
who
of the phone too, probably social media.
people aren't speaking to people
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
So longevity's here to stay. The mental health piece is really big. The isolation, that can kill you quicker than smoking a pack of cigarettes every single day. And this woman who lived till 122, it was about her community.
Mm.
And, you know, she was a bit crazy, a bit brash with people, but it was that kept her going. And she didn't have this internal body clock going, I'm getting old, I'm getting old, I'm getting old. I think when we keep saying that to ourselves as well, I'm getting old, I don't feel like I'm in my 50s now. No way. You know, it's like I feel like I feel. You know, I'm not even going to put an age on it. It's more a case of we know we can do things to test our bodies to see where our baselines are at. We know we can do things to correct. We know we can make better choices. So I think anyone getting into this industry and anyone listening in thinking, oh, you know, I want to like look into the spa and wellness industry and what I can do for it. It could be something as simple as bringing a product to market. Like a lot of these tests 10 years ago where you could just go and, you know, have your blood pressure tested and your heart tested, you know, with EKGs and things like that. The blend of tech and the analysis that they're doing now is just astounding. And they can literally pinpoint, like, if you don't do this, you are going to have a stroke by this time. Like the world of preventative disease or creating a world without disease by preventative medicine and wellness, by taking away that stress, could have people living to well over 100.
Wow. Did you see that show, the Blue Zone show on Netflix?
Of
With
course, yeah.
Italy.
Well, Dan Bootner was another one of the speakers at the Wellness Summit. Yeah. So the host of the Blue Zone series on Netflix, he spoke at the Global Wellness Summit a few times. And you know, we have a Blue Zone here in California.
Yeah, just you and Belinda.
Belinda, yeah.
I think you and I should do a show on this.
Okay.
We need to do a show on wellness. Well, we're doing it now, but
I know.
we should pitch it to Netflix.
Okay.
I think we'd have a lot of fun.
We would.
Okay, well, let's wrap up here. I guess I'd like to ask you if you could have done anything, if you could do anything over, and I mean, don't just say no, just hear me out a second.
Yeah.
If you could do anything over in the spa industry, what would you have done? What would you have done with the knowledge you have now, your 18-year-old self, you're just starting out fresh? Would you do anything different or consider doing anything different?
I think the way the retreat part of the industry is taken off so widely, I think if I'd got into the retreat space much earlier in my career, so taking all these skills that I learned from all these top trainers around the world and bringing people together in the form of a retreat, a wellness retreat somewhere in the world, I would love to think that I could have got into that retreat space really early. Not saying it's not going to happen, but now, if you look at the amount of retreats that are going on out there, I mean, there's even conferences, retreat conferences now. They didn't even exist, where all the people all over the world, whether it's a digital detox retreat, a massage retreat, you know, a find yourself in 10 days retreat, it doesn't matter. But retreats are really big business and they're very important. And especially it lends a hand to corporate wellness as well. You know, I see many leaders now closing their companies down, taking people off the premises for 3 days and doing not only a company retreat to set goals and set mission, vision, and values and everything that's needed for leadership, but to actually get everybody's head right and detox them and give them a nice, clean platform to make their own personal goals as well. Because a happy employee or a happy person in general is going to deliver so much more to the world and the greater good of it all, and than somebody who is, you know, depressed, full of anxiety and stressed out. So the retreat world is probably something, if I look back, I'm like, oh, I could have, when I stopped working on cruise ships, I should have just started like a little retreat in California where, people could come in and, spend 5 days with you doing something. And now it's easy to do. There's many people out there.
Well, I remember, 20 years ago, corporate wellness was just kind of starting. Like
It
that
really was.
big 2 decades ago. It's not that long.
And now are going back to getting the data on it. Now they're showing, somebody who goes through corporate wellness programs at work, give 80% more productivity than someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
And just quickly in Tokyo, they put lemon essential oil through the air vents in an office for a week, and then they didn't do it the following week, and they measured at 65% more productive than the other week.
And how much would it cost a corporation to put
throw that lemon through the air conditioning units and bam.
It wouldn't take that much for the corporation to do that. It's outstanding.
Simple things.
So let me ask you personally, what are you working on yourself over the next couple months or years? Where areas of yourself are you looking to grow and change?
Well, I just mentioned my big goal for this year is OFGUS. I mean, sauna work, contrast therapy, working more in that sauna culture space. Like my goal this year is to get really immersed in that because, I've been in the industry teaching for over 30 years now and running spas and, doing medical spas and everything else. But 20 years of, my 30 plus year career has been dedicated to education. So I wanted to learn something new. And I didn't necessarily want it to be a technique, like a massage technique or anything, because I work with some really good trainers and they're teaching me all the time. So I wanted to do something that would bring me wellness as well. Like, what can I do that keeps me in the wellness industry, keeps me current in the wellness space, like what's trending, and it's a give back to me and the community at large. Like I can teach a group of people how to do oncology massage, but can I teach a group of people about sauna culture and aromatherapy? Yes, I can through OFGUS. But it's a way of keeping me healthy as well. So that's what I'm working on this year. And, just before I came here today to the podcast, I went through my social media, I went through my LinkedIn. Next thing is my website, but I've just started adding OFGUS. And I haven't even put like certified OFGUS, master or anything like that, because I'm not. I'm not claiming to be something I'm not. But what I have put is OFGUS enthusiast, OFGUS sauna master in training, because I feel just based on the education that I impart when I'm teaching massage and aesthetics, I know I want to really focus on this year to get myself to a level where I can potentially teach others. So, watch this space.
I didn't hear about it till you told me. It's exciting because I love saunas. Not everybody loves saunas, but I think a lot of people do.
But when you go in a sauna, like, tell me what you normally do.
Meditate.
You said that, right? It's quiet. It's just quiet. So imagine someone coming in, they might even be in a costume. And they've got snowballs in their hand and they put one on the coals and they hit it with the ladle and they put their music on and then they get a towel and they just start wafting this aromatherapy around. And all of a sudden you feel the heat and the aroma and then you've got music in your ears now. And then when you open your eyes, you're watching somebody do this very graceful towel waving dance in front of you. That is OFGUS. And when I first went to it years ago, I just thought it was the most magical thing I'd ever seen. Never in a million years did I think that I would be the one doing an OFGUS in Norway as part of my training. That was the most scariest thing ever. But once I did it, I just felt really liberated. And I thought, I really want to get into this.
Joanne, you've spoken in front of so many audiences. What are you talking about?
It's a bit different when you're in a sauna, sweating bullets, and, you've got like a sarong on and, you're half naked and, and it's hot. It's hot. You're doing a performance in a sauna. That's why they're only 12 to 15 minutes long.
Yep. I want to try it. I'd love to try
Oh,
it.
just you wait. I'm working on it. I'm working on a few things right now. And there's 3 locations that I'm working on.
One's in our backyard.
They don't know it's,
Slab.
I know, right? Having it delivered soon. But no, I'm working on 3. I won't say the names because I don't want to jinx it, but I'm working on 3 locations with saunas that hold anywhere from 15 to 50 people right now. So I'm working on 3 locations with saunas that hold that many people. And I want to offer complimentary Ofgus sessions to the staff to educate them on what Ofgus is. And then what I'd like to do is maybe once a week go into all 3 of them and do it for their guests, just to get practice and just to get going. So hopefully one of those will land soon.
Amazing.
To be continued. We'll see.
I can't wait to go with you.
You can. That's the thing. You can come and just sit there and be part of the staff crew. You know.
What do you think would make the world a better place right now, in your opinion?
Communication. You know, we've talked a lot about the phones and everything, and I think just what we're doing, just good communication, honesty, communication and honesty. Good old-fashioned, sit down, have a chat.
Mm-hmm. And what are you working on with yourself personally right now? You mentioned the career side of it, but what are you working on to just enhance your own physical, mental, and emotional wellness?
Well, I mean, certainly we all hit the new year with, I've been dragged through a hedge backwards and I want to fix that. You want to become a better version of yourself. But for me, I mean, I've just started getting back into journaling again. And it's so powerful when you really set aside time, because I have a little bit of a monkey mind. And, what's the average? How many thoughts a day do we have as humans? Is it 100 and something thousand thoughts a day?
15,000, but
okay, mate. Well, I have more. I have 100,000. I have 100,000. So anyway, with that said, I'm just one of those people who I need to stop the chatter. So now when I have a thought, I've set aside a time every day. So you're asking what I'm working on myself with. I'm working on my monkey mind by setting aside a time every day for journaling. And if a thought pops up and I start thinking about it, I actually say to my brain now, not now, your time will come at 6 p.m. journaling time. And it's amazing how I can make that go away. But I have to really think about it. So I'm working on that, and that's helping my mental health. All right, because it's allowing me to focus on what needs to be focused on rather than thinking about all this other stuff. And then I've adopted a kind of little wellness ritual every night. I'm using frequency output to just balance different systems in my body. It's a little device that I use. And I use that, and I use my red light therapy, and I do a combination of those 2 every night for at least 30 minutes. And what that's helping is also brain, mental health, but it's helping relaxation. Because I found that as I go through my own little wonderful menopause journey here, that I need to work on strengthening my body, but strengthening my mind as well. So when it comes to the physical aspect, I'm still swimming. I love my swimming, but I'm also very focused on strengthening as well. So there's some personal things that I'm working on.
What are your thoughts on relationships these days? I mean, you're not just you personally or you and I, but you're in the spa industry. You talk to a lot of women of all different ages and men. What is going on with relationships these days? Is everything okay with us as a world when it comes to being in relationships?
You mean intimate relationships?
Sure, you're sure.
Work relationships?
Well, an intimate partner relationship or relationships in general, but in particularly probably more romantic relationships. I don't know. For me, I feel like something's going on. I can't put my finger on it, but working in the spa and wellness industry, I'm sure people open up to you about this. Maybe they're in a relationship that's not healthy. Maybe it's healthy. There's a lot of single people these days at our age, and I just wonder what your opinion is of that.
I think relationships are always going to be, again, very unique to the people, at hand. But so I can't certainly speak for everyone. But what I see is, again, the communication aspect is so important, and it's so easy to hide behind a mask as well. So they're the more negative aspects. You can be someone who you're not on social media. You don't have to communicate as well with your partner because you might, be watching Netflix or using your phone. So they're the negative aspects of it. The positive aspects of it is that if you can find a partner who balances you out, who you can grow with, who you can make plans with, the whole growth plan. I remember back in my day, it was quite normal to ask somebody, where do you see yourself in 5, 10 years from now? And I don't think people can see where they're going to be next week. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard because we're all moving so quickly. So, with relationships, I think some of them are very quick and done as well. It's that taking the time to really get to know someone and grow with them and really go back to why are we here and what are we doing? Because you're right, Rick. Sometimes it's easier to be single.
I think a lot of people are figuring that out. Carson, what's going on with people your age in relationships?
I hear a lot about people on dating apps.
Oh, the dating apps.
Yeah.
That
That came after us, yeah.
Hardly leads to like a long relationship. It's more about like physical elements of relationship.
Are you a lot of your friends in relationships, or are most of them single?
Um, at my Christian university, there's a lot that are single. Yeah, and if there people are dating, they're maybe dating each other. The people that go to our school, like there's some relationships, but you don't see a lot of relationships pop up. I feel like it's also a smaller school, so the community is a little smaller. But yeah, you don't really see a lot of relationships.
Interesting. I mean, when we were growing up, that was everything, right? I mean, I've been in so many relationships, and I know you and I have talked about this before, and I think it's such an interesting topic because, well, most people like good companionship, healthy companionship, somebody that is a good complement to them that they can grow with, like you were saying. But I do hope that whatever is going on, because I think there is some detachment from love, commitment that we used to see in relationships 20, 30 years ago that we're not seeing now. So I think you mentioned communication. I think that's the biggest thing, but there's other elements to it too. The dating apps, the social media, the distraction. We won't get into our personal lives too much, but I know you and I have learned a lot over the years in that, and not just relationships with a significant other, an intimate other. And I sort of want to wrap up on this point, but let's talk about the value of friendships because we spoke about that earlier. And I think if you don't have a partner, how important are friends and why?
Well, there's a saying that has carried me around the world, since I left England. Back in 1999, I left England. And, the family that I have left is in England, but the family that I have around the world are friends. So friends are the family you choose. And that is really important. And I think you might meet people in passing, and there's that other saying, you meet people for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Some people come in for a reason to teach you something. Some people can come in for a season to elongate something, maybe spend time with you until it's time to move you on. But the lifetime is when you've hit special chords, and it doesn't matter how much time goes by, but those friendships are always going to be there. And I think when you meet people and they've already got a good set of friends around them and a good support group, it shows just how diverse and maybe well respected they are in their community, and how well they can get on with other people. Having good friendships in life is a test of character as well.
It says a lot about a person.
Of course,
They
if you
really
don't
does.
have any friends, why is that?
Yeah.
Do you piss people off so much that they just can't be your friend? I'm delighted to say I've got friends in my corner who, I would do anything for them, and I know it would be the same. And that is, I think, our friendship as well. You know, we could go for years not seeing each other or speaking, but we always know that we're there for each other.
Well, you know, Joanne, you and I are really lucky. We have literally, together, we have 20, 30 friends that we still talk to, mutual.
I know.
But separately, I mean, I know I have like 100 friends. I mean, I have at least 100 friends
Yes.
that I keep in contact with, and I feel so blessed because I don't have kids in a family, which is just my path and what God has chosen for me and how I look at it. But my friends are so much to me because those are the people we choose. You know, if you do have a family, what if you don't like your partner, or what if your kids
Happens
are
all
being
the time.
brats, you know,
Happens
and like
all the time.
and people are like, oh, well, you know, family's everything. I don't think so. Sorry. If your family's an asshole, I don't care. I don't want to be around them. I mean, I'd rather be around my friends, right? Like you said, friends are the new family. And I think it's really important that we nurture and we take care of our friends. They're not even our friends. Everybody can be our friend if we look at the world through a unity eye, a peaceful eye with kindness and compassion. We'll see that everybody struggles. Everybody wants love. Everybody, you know, most people want to be their best selves. And there's also a lot of turds out there too.
Yeah, we don't have those in our friend circles.
No, we have great people. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing talk.
It's been fun.
21 years of friendship now and counting.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do great things in the spa industry coming up. So
We certainly are.
can't wait to share this podcast with the spa industry, all of our friends. Thank you so much for your insights, Joanne.
Thank you, Rick. Such a pleasure being here. Really, thank you.
pleasure.
It's so much fun always chatting to you. And I just love this podcast thing you've started. So
Thank
great
you
stuff.
so much. We'll see you next episode.
All right.
All right.